What up, my guys, man? Welcome to another show, man. Saturday show, NBA Talk with J Money and the Shark. We're here. We're about to break down every single NBA game in detail, and we're trying to get to some cash. Shark, what's up with you, my brother? Everything cool on this side of the world?
Absolutely. Taking a breath here. Beautiful Saturday morning. Got the birds chirping in the background. We're hanging out January 7th, 2023. Couldn't be a better place to be in the world. Welcome to people in the chat. As we mentioned yesterday, drop your plays, drop your angles, interact with us. We'll try to interact with you a little bit more. Not a big card today, but a lot to discuss. J Money, let's get in there and let's talk about it.
A ton to discuss, my guys. Let's get over here. First game up, man. Let's go to the streets of San Antonio. We got the Spurs here getting 12.5 points at the house versus the Boston Celtics. Obviously, the Celtics only 1-2 on this road trip. I believe last game of a 4-game road trip. I'm sure they want to close it out nice, Shark. Can we trust them, though, laying near 13 points on the road? Obviously, Spurs got the win yesterday. Do you think they back up success with some success here?
It's a good question. It's a good question. As you mentioned, Boston on the back end of a trip. They have not been particularly good on the back end of a trip. They are 1-3 ATS in 4 prior final game of road multiple sequences. Obviously, San Antonio here on a 3rd and 4 back-to-back off a very impressive wire-to-wire victory yesterday against Detroit, which we suggested. This game, I think, is going to be very sharp on the number. We've seen Boston this year lay some big figures, particularly at home to this division. One that comes to mind, very noteworthy, 14.5, 15.5 against Houston. On the road, a bit of a different story. Definitely a funky spot. They get a revenge game against Chicago on Monday night, I believe, at home, which is going to be a much more motivated spot for them. If I'm looking at this game, I think people obviously want a little early action. This is a 6 o'clock tip Eastern. The best look in this game, in my opinion, is the over. And I think this is symptomatic to matinee basketball in general. There's less defensive intensity in the league, generally speaking, when they tip off at an early time. You're going to get tired legs from the Spurs, which means more offense. Teams can still shoot. They just don't break it down on defense. And if you really go through the matchup last year, of course, slightly different rosters, but not so different in certain contexts. The games last year were just absolute throwback to 1990s basketball in terms of the final scores. 2 games last year, San Antonio 96, Boston 88, and San Antonio 99, Boston 97. Teams, four totals last year. Nobody got over 100 points. I mean, that's insane. But if you go back to the previous season with similar rosters, again, obviously some moving parts more so on San Antonio's side, really high totals, 143 to 140, 129, 114, 135, 115. Then you look at this number opening up at 235.5. Books are seeing what I'm seeing. Last year was the anomaly in terms of the pace with these real low-scoring games. Matinee, we're not officially on it. We don't like to play totals that often, but I think the best early look here is the over, Jay.
Yeah, I couldn't talk you off, man. The Celtics coming in a little double revenge from last year. I mean, personally, like I said, I can only look towards Celtics early in this one. Obviously, they've been coming out lackluster. They have to get their focus back right. This is obviously not a good team, right? But you can smash these guys with your offense. It's going to be offense versus offense. Spurs are really down a lot of guys. Keldon Johnson left that game yesterday as well with a hamstring, so definitely wouldn't expect him to be out there. I believe that's why they started to get popped last night as well, from 11 up to 12.5 and 13. So I'd lean Celtics first quarter, first half in this one. Stand away. I wouldn't even look towards a double-digit spread full game. You never know what could happen there. But also wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics really just put it on these guys, man. It's really hard to back up success with success. I do have my eyes set on some with the for San Antonio in their next somewhat home game. But in this one, they could possibly get their full game, but I can only look towards Celtics early. I know the last night, the first quarter was sitting at 4.5, first half sitting at 7.5. Those would be my top plays in this game. I could only look towards the C's in this one, my guys. Let's see if they keep that confidence going. We know it's not a team as big as the Mavs, but do you really want to go have a lackluster road trip, right? So this game is all about can Mazzulla get the guys, motivate the guys, right? I'm watching the Celtics real closely right now because I'm worried about I'm still worried about Mazzulla, so I'm still watching them closely, guys. But let's see how they come out here today, the way they should come out and smoke these guys in the first quarter, first half, and try to get this game over with, guys. Go over here to the streets of Chicago here, man. We got the Bulls getting 1.5 points here at the house. They were laying 1.5 last night. Now they're the underdogs here, and when you look at it, it's a horrible spot for them, Shark. They're coming off the Celtics, coming off the Nets game, then the 76ers, right? They ended the net streak, 12-game win streak. Then you ended the 76ers streak versus yourselves. Now you got the Celtics on deck, possible look ahead. But I know one thing, that I'm not laying points with the Jazz on the road, but in theory, it would be a letdown spot for the Bulls here, Sharp.
I agree. And, when I saw this line last night, this did open up at Chicago -1.5. And that would be a Chicago line by a half point in terms of line functionality strength. But this is getting steamed overnight aggressively towards Utah. And you know what this reminds me of, Jay? A game that New Orleans played in Chicago. New Orleans opened up a much shorter, I believe, underdog and moved to a favorite through the course of the day. And New Orleans did cover in Chicago. And that leads me to the opening point in this game. Chicago is 1-3 home ATS versus the West. They do not perform very well here at all. They're also 1-2 ATS on a road home back-to-back. And as you mentioned last night, they left it all on the floor. That was an incredibly impressive performance. 126-112. Zach LaVine just going off, 10-plus three-pointers. Highly impressive stuff. I love my guy, Zach LaVine. When he shows out, I get a big energy. He's a great freaking dude just off the court. I just respect him as a human being. So he hyped me up last night. And, of course, he cashed the money line and the spread for us on this beautiful show. But you go through Utah, as you mentioned, it's hard to buy Utah. Utah does not perform very well against the East. Utah's 2-4 against the East. But I do think there is one noteworthy point on this. Utah lost 3 home games to the East earlier this year. They lost to the Knicks, they lost to Chicago, and they lost to Detroit. The only one of those that they've gone on the road to revenge so far, they went into Detroit, and the line was noteworthy, and it was short. They had laid 12 points at home to Detroit. They went on the road and only laid 2. So it was a Detroit spot. And Utah revenged them and hammered them 126-111. This is equally short at open. It's a Chicago line. Steam's coming across. I'm not on it right now, but I'm really looking at Utah here with some significance.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. My only count, a lot of these games have counter narratives, in my opinion, man. So the whole thing with the Bulls is, if they really want to stack up wins, they can obviously get this win. The Jazz are nowhere near as strong on the road. We know that they just went and smoked up the Rockets, but what I've sensed from this team, they really feed off the home crowd energy at the house. Now, Lauri Markkanen, if you like the Jazz here, I think you could really just go with Lauri Markkanen in this one. He used to play for the Bulls. I believe he was drafted by the Bulls as well. He's going to have, and he's playing for All-Star. He's trying to get into the All-Star as well. So he's coming off a game with 49 points. He's already a matchup problem for this team as well. So I feel like if the Jazz really do come in this game even more, regardless of who wins, I think Lauri Markkanen shows out. So that's my angle on this game. I do agree it's a horrible spot for the Bulls, but if they do still want to continue to stack up wins and continue their hot play, like if you want to, like last night they were sitting at 10th seed in the playoffs. If you want to get in there, you can win these type of games. So it's all about their focus here. And it's all about coaching, in my opinion. So if they want to, they can win this game, but also wouldn't be surprised if Utah did catch them sleeping. But more on that, I think regardless of what happens on the spread, Lauri Markkanen props in this. We know Vucevic can't stop him. A regular center can't even stop these guys. Definitely not Vucevic. Remember, Bulls struggle up against opposing centers. Markkanen was drafted by Chicago. I could see him going off once again tonight and continuing his all-star push, my guys. Let's go over here to the streets of Dallas here, guys. We got a real good game here. Mavs land 7 points at the house versus the Pelicans. Pelicans almost beat the Nets last night, man. Then kind of let down, kind of seemed like, oh, okay, we got a game tomorrow. Let's get ready for that one, Shark. This one's up to 7.5 now here. You liking the Mavs here, my guy, laying the points?
I am, and as you introed it, I think it's very nice that New Orleans showed up last night with a big energy because now they go on the road and they go into a really dead zone spot for them. 3rd and 4, home road, back-to-back, final leg, fatigue, emotional and physical. New Orleans is 0-3 ATS this year in the final leg of a home road back-to-back going on the road. I think it continues tonight, and I think it's also very centered on Dallas. Of course, go back to the previous game. You and I both said Boston would come in there and hammer them. This is the zigzag in and out, consistency to the inconsistency of professional basketball. And you look at a very specific bounce back effect for Dallas. Dallas, depending on the line you got in a game versus Orlando earlier this year, they're 3-0 ATS at home coming off of a prior home loss, staying at home. If they lose in their home gym and they play the next one at home, they're going to show the hell up. And a very specific game that I think correlates to this directly, Cleveland went into Dallas and hammered them 105-90. The game flow was very, very similar to the Boston game. I was looking at it last night. I thought, this is robotic stuff. Cleveland went in there and won the first quarter 26-19, and the second quarter 34-22. Boston went in there and won the first quarter 29-20, and the second quarter 35-26. Almost identical stuff. What happened in the next game for Dallas? They came home in a second matchup of the year against Portland on a shorter line, I might add. So books did not have a line tell here, and absolutely came out scorching hot shooting the basketball. 70-plus points in the first half, just ran them out of the gym and shot highly effectively. New Orleans on the back-to-back won't have legs. They won't be on the perimeter. I think Dallas comes out here tonight and really hammers them. Final point here. This is a revenge game. Dallas did lose earlier this year, 113-111. Tracking this the last 3 years, a trend is developing. It's not so much line functionality. It's purely just revenge game over and over. Teams are flip-flopping covers and wins and losses in the last 4. On that flip-flop effect, this is all over Dallas. I expect Dallas to come out here with authority tonight. We're on it first half -4 and game -7 official.
Gosh, I couldn't talk you off, my guy. Yeah, Pelicans only 1-11 against the spread last 12 Saturday games. So for whatever reason, this team doesn't like to play on Saturdays, man. 1-5 against the spread last 6 road games as well. Couldn't talk you off. This is an interdivisional type of game as well. I could see it being a playoff game. I would lean toward the under, in my opinion, man. Mavs doing a lot of hero ball with Luka. If Luka's not on, I worry about Dinwiddie and the rest of the team right now. So I'm off this Mavs game. I wish you the best luck. I hope you guys in the chat cash this one. Mavs first half full game. I'd lean to the under in this one. I know that Pelicans defense is lights out, and that's the only way they can win right now. They really only have CJ McCollum offensively, in my opinion. When teams really, this one, if the Mavs can really lock up defensively, they can win this game by double digits, in my opinion. We know that the Pelicans going to play this game like a playoff style type of game. I'd lean towards the under in this one. I really like those defenders for the Pelicans, and their offense is sputtering right now without Ingram and Zion Williamson, guys. So I would lean to the under in that game, my guys. Let's go over here to the streets of San Francisco here, man. We're going to the streets of Oakland here. No, they're in San Francisco now. We got the Warriors here laying 7 points at the house versus the Magic in this one. They do get Wiggins back, Shark. Warriors coming here off a loss, man. You're fading your squad at the house. What you like here?
My squad, yeah. I'm a Knicks fan, but I haven't been able to root for the Knicks since 1994 playoffs. So, of course, yes, I do like the Dubs, and we did hit that nice last year in the finals. But we're not betting them tonight. We're looking at the other side of this game. We're looking at Orlando at +6.5. And I'm not on this officially just yet. I think this might go up to 7, and we're waiting on that throughout the day. Jay has 7 on the board here. I'm not sure if it has jumped up already, but I'm not dropping it officially now, but it will be official on Twitter later this afternoon. And again, what we're looking at here, I think, is the Golden State Warriors. And I think Jay and I talk about this all the time. You want to find teams that go on winning streaks, but are unconvincing in the process of their winning streak. Dubs were on a dub 5. They had won 5 games in a row. Every single one of those games was within 6 points or less. Tight games across the board. No Steph Curry. Steph Curry comes back soon. I think they're hitting a bit of a bottom out point emotionally, knowing he's coming back. And obviously coming off of a Detroit loss, now they catch Orlando. Major look-ahead environment here. Next game, they get a double revenge game against Phoenix. Phoenix already hammered them twice this year by 20-plus points. This is a real dead zone spot. And I think if we really go back to that Detroit game the other night, the Dubs had lost in Detroit. So theoretically, they were motivated to revenge Detroit, whatever. No, what did the books do? The books shortened up the line. Detroit went in there and won the game. This is the exact same environment. Orlando won the game in Orlando against the full staff Dubs. Now the line's shortening up. Orlando comes in here off a blowout loss, which we had correctly the other night with Memphis on the road. They go on the West Coast for the first time this year. They are 1-1 ATS in a very small sample at the West, in the center of the country, in Dallas prior. But the final point on this game, Orlando started the season 5-20 straight up. I'll repeat that, 5-20 straight up. They're 9-5 since. This team is playing playoff caliber basketball. They've found a flow. They're integrating a very deep young roster. Dubs are going to have trouble with this game tonight. This game should fall within 6 points versus the money line. I will be on this, as I mentioned officially. We're looking for 7, maybe even 7.5. Orlando Magic on the road tonight. Let's go.
Yeah, and the Warriors missing a ton of depth as well, man. I believe that's why they lost that Pistons game. Obviously Wiseman out, Kaminga out. They do get Wiggins back today. Me personally, I wanted to take Warriors first quarter in this game. I think that's for me the top spot in this game. Obviously, with Wiggins coming back in there, does mess some things up. He's probably going to come out there rusty, so that throws it off. But you have the Magic here on their first game on the East Coast here, and traveling, going straight from east from on the West Coast, traveling straight from east to west as well. So it's going to take them a little bit of time to get used to that, especially Warriors at the house. They've been at the house. I could only look towards the Warriors in the first quarter in this one, especially coming off their loss at the house. Like I said, they're already acclimated to the time zone. Warriors, I mean, the Magic have to get used to it, especially with it being their first game. I could only look towards the Warriors first quarter in this game. But I must say, Wiggins coming in there, especially if they start him, will throw off some things. Be nice if they brought him off the bench. That's probably not going to happen, though. Still, I could only look towards the Warriors, the Dubs in this in the first quarter in this one, my guys. Let's go over here to the streets. Last game up, let's go to the streets of Sacramento here. We got the Kings laying 9 points at the house versus the Lakers in this one, Shark. What you like in this one, my guy?
Well, on a suddenly not so casual Saturday, January 7th, 2023, the buy hat is not here, but as I said yesterday, it is in essence around here with major positive energy to the home team, Sacramento Kings. We're taking it at -8.5, 1 unit. A lot going on in this game. This is where situational schedule flow trends really start to develop with teams. You start to look at Sacramento. Uncannily, Sacramento is 5-0 ATS at home in the second game of a homestand. They're also, even more impressively from a consistency standpoint, 4-0 ATS in the second game off a non-cover in home game one. This team does not play well in their home gym coming off a road trip. They get it together and they come back, and look no further what just happened the other night. J Money special, Atlanta Hawks go in there and win and cover the game. Even more specifically, go back to the last homestand. They came out with a dud and lost to Charlotte out of the same division, the Southeast, and they came back against the Lakers in the second game and hammered the Lakers 134-120. You look at the Lakers in this game, Lakers come in here on a home road back-to-back, 3rd and 4 fatigue spot. Only 2 environments this year for the Lakers, both at the West, no defense whatsoever. Blowout loss to Utah in Utah, 139-116. Blowout loss in Phoenix, 130-104. Sacramento's already hammered them twice this year. The line's coming up in the revenge matchup, showcasing continued strength for Sacramento. And one final point, in the last game, 134-120 Sac, which they did cover, the Lakers shot 45.8% from the three-point line and still lost by 14 points. This game tonight has a 20-point blowout written all over it. Unofficially, -8.5, 1 unit.
Yeah, I couldn't talk you off here. We know that Lakers at some point is supposed to run out of gas, come off the 5-game road trip, 2 games at the house, and now in the back-to-back, 3rd game in 4 nights and 4th game in 6 nights as well. We know the way the Kings like to run and gun. They're coming off a loss at the house, 2 days off rest. Yeah, in theory, they should smoke these guys. I've seen the public heavy to the Lakers here as well, the way they've been playing well, catching points. They're heavy to the Lakers here, so definitely couldn't talk you off the Kings here, Shark. It was a touch too many points for me, but they definitely should smoke these guys. Wouldn't be surprised at all if they smoked them by 10 or more points, Shark. Let's get this cash today, my brother. Let's get out of here, man. Let's go here and talk about some free picks here. Talk about some shirts, Shark. What you liking on tonight's card, my brother?
4 top plays, 9 words of lifestyle. Right away, we got out of the water. Early card, not so early, 8 o'clock. We are going to Dallas early, -4 first half and -7. I failed to mention it before. You guys know this. I want to say it right now. We all know this about Dallas basketball at home. Their best environments come against West contenders. Absolute hammer zone against Memphis, Phoenix, Dubs, Denver, and Portland prior. This is going to be a spot where they shoot the ball very well tonight and score a lot of points. Orlando Magic on the road looking for 7 will be official on Twitter this afternoon. And the nightcap in Sacramento, California. Home team, second game of a homestand, 5-0 ATS in this environment. It's where they bounce back off prior duds, coming off trips, coming home game one. Sacramento, -8.5, 1 unit. J Money, beautiful Saturday. It is 20 minutes in the books. Close them out and let's dominate.
I love the plays, my guys. It's 4-0 right there, man. For me, man, I'm going to a little NFL, man. Patrick Mahomes over passing yards, man. I wish I had gave out last night. I got a couple books that had 319 and a half last night. Other ones had 325. I checked Barstool this morning. It's up to 328, guys. He needs, I believe, 430 passing yards to break the season record. I fully believe he's going to be chucking it out there. I'll be honest. I like the completions over 27 and a half. I like the attempts over 39 and a half, but more than ever, I'll go ahead and take the yards. Obviously, we already hopped on the Raiders plus the 9.5. I look at it deeper. I'm like, fuck, man, the Chiefs might really be out here super pass happy. So I think the Raiders might treat it like it's their Super Bowl, but regardless of that, Patrick Mahomes really going for that record tonight. And I'll be honest, I think he gets there. If you'd like to get him to get the record, you can take him plus 650 at DraftKings to get the over 430 passing yards, but I'm taking the safe route. I'll take the regular spread. I'll go official with the over 328. That's what over 328 and a half. That's what I just saw before the show. It was at 325 and a half last night, guys. Finna post it on Action Network app. Let's get some cash today, man. We appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. If you still like a shirt as well, use promo code We Will Win over there at the site, guys. jmoneyismoney.com. 50% off all the merch over there. And we appreciate everybody for the support. We appreciate you for tuning into the show. Hit the like button, subscribe, man. Retweet on Twitter as well, man. Let's get this cash, man. We will win, guys. We're back tomorrow.